my example 1. What I have for you is just a few illustrations. 6 times 5 is 30, positive, right? And the rule that governs that is they're the same sign, so it is a positive product. Okay? In the same way, a negative times a negative would give you a positive product. Okay? Negative 6 times 5 is a negative 30. Different sign gives you a negative product. And it doesn't matter which one is negative. Okay? There's a nice quick summary of the rules. A nice quick summary of the rules. Now, the next thing I want to share with you has to do with what if it's multiple factors? So multiple pieces getting multiplied. How do you know what the sign will be? Odd number of negative factors, the result will be negative. Okay? Even number of negative factors, the result is positive. Okay? Odd number, negative. Even number, positive. Take, for example, 2 multiplied by 5 multiplied by negative 20. There is one negative factor, right? One negative factor. Therefore, the result is going to be negative. Okay? That makes your result negative. In contrast, I'll call that one A. Let's just say 2 times negative 3 times 12 times negative 1. There are 2 negative factors, which means the result is going to be positive. Keep in mind that I'm only writing this for your purposes. If you do not write positive, I assume it's positive. Okay, I don't expect you to write positive preceding a number that's just kind of out there. So you've got 36 times 2, which is going to be a positive 72. If I did my arithmetic correctly. The last thing I'm going to share with you in this group is this. I irritated Philip Burrell with this when I taught this lesson to them. Can any of you see why this is irritating? Any ideas? Because there's a 0. None of these numbers matter. You can start plucking away at this. 6 times 12 is 72 times negative 15 times all of this times 0. It doesn't matter how many factors there are. If you throw a 0 into the mix, the entire list is now null and void. It is a 0. Be on the lookout for things like that. Examples 3 and 4, I'm going to flip to the next page here and flip my notes to the next page here in just a second. Example 3. If you have variables involved, you still treat the variables' coefficients like you would treat their numbers. For example, 6x and a negative 3y. The commutative property says I can move stuff around. So 6 times negative 3 times x times y. What will the coefficient of the product be? Positive or negative? Negative, yep. Negative 18xy. It's going to be your answer. Negative 18xy. Okay? Adding together, and I know you're thinking, wait, this is multiplication, but when you're adding together and there's a coefficient, remember you're multiplying. 6 times p added to negative 11p. This is the same thing as taking 6, combining it with negative 11, and multiplying both of those pieces by p. This is kind of like what we did yesterday with the distributive property. We just pulled out that p. Combining positives and negatives, you find the difference and keep the sign of the bigger of the two, the bigger absolute value, and that's the negative number, leaving you with that result, negative 5p. Example 4, this is the last thing we're going to touch on here. Yesterday's lesson on distributing, we're going to pick that up a little bit just real quick. This expression is saying negative 2 times this, all of this. And since x and negative 3y are not combinable, you must distribute the negative 2 into each piece separately. Now the first one is kind of self-explanatory. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. But where I see problems is negative 2 multiplied by negative 3y. Negative times negative, positive 6y. Okay? Be on the lookout for that. Negative times negative is positive. And even if they get a little bit bigger like this, oops, I gave you the one actually right out of the textbook, silly me. Forgot to give you my example. Even if they give you something like this, think about how you can chip away at this problem and simplify it. First, you're going to want to deal with this is a negative 3. Negative 3 times 2r and negative 3 times negative 9. So you should have a negative 6r and a positive 27. Negative 3, negative 9. The 5r joins the party, combines with that negative 6r, and you are left with negative 1r. What do you think? So far, so good? I want to do one more of these with you. One that's just a little bit sketchy. Okay, this is another example.
Junior High, Eagle Ministries, to the gym, please.
Not sure if you guys recall this from the blue book, but this negative causes the 2x and the 4 to invert their signs. This literally means 6x minus this stuff here. Negative 2x negative 4, bring down the 6x. Okay, watch out for that. And you'll end up with 4x minus 4 as your end result. Okay? You guys feel okay with something like this? All right, super.